With the Student Venture Fund, were there any challenges that you guys faced throughout? And if so, what were those challenges and how did you overcome them?
Yeah, I can start again. So I think on the Student Venture Fund, one big challenge is that really sharp learning curve, which is also really exciting in the fact that it replicates what you'd see on a venture capital, excuse me, co-op term or kind of work experience. So essentially, because you're always looking at different companies in different industries at different stages of where they're at, you're always learning about new technologies, new processes, new business models that maybe just never existed in the past before. So I think the steep learning curve is something to watch out for. And in terms of getting over that challenge, it's really just about drawing on those resources like the VC networks you're going to have, like the advisory board and investment committee on the Student Venture Fund, as well as faculty advisors and the rest of your teammates to pull together that wealth of knowledge and apply it.
Another challenge is within balancing the student venture fund, I would say. So of course, this is a 4 credit course, like you mentioned earlier, but it's a half credit course. So 2 terms on the venture fund would equal 1 course in your term workload, essentially. But for the most part, you're taking a full 4 or 5 course load in addition to the student venture fund. And I think that's also a challenge, is finding a way to balance that, especially because we are investing in real companies that are not on a student like schedule or lifestyle. Essentially, they have to raise this funding by a certain deadline, which means we have to make a decision by that deadline, which means we have to do all the work to make that decision by that time. So building your schedule around that, and being flexible, and planning really effectively is super important, and is definitely a challenge at first. But once you kind of get into the groove of things and you have your seniors on the fund to support you in doing so, it usually becomes fairly easy to manage.
Yeah, definitely echoing what Yiga and Noah said. Coming into the venture fund as an analyst, there's a steep learning curve, and there's a lot to learn from a new VC perspective. However, I think it's a really good experience because it is one of your first times that you start learning about early stage investing and the VC landscape. So it's definitely worth it.